Hey guys, we've got a bit of an unusual energy day today. First of all, we are in void of course moon energy all day. The moon will leave the sign of Leo today and enter the sign of Virgo, where it will not make an aspect to another planet until tomorrow afternoon. So things may be a bit up in the air today, and honestly, we may feel in somewhat of a state of limbo. Now, that being said, we do have some big aspects playing out. Number one, first and foremost, Venus will be forming an exact square to Pluto today, and the sun is right there as well. But this may really be bringing up some intense, powerful, emotional reactions, emotional experiences, interactions, encounters with others today. And this is likely to specifically be in the realms of relationships with the Libra Venus themes going on. We also have Mercury, the messenger planet ruling our mind, forming an opposition to Chiron in the sky today. Perhaps we may also find ourselves reflecting on where we've been wounded as a result of some relationship dynamics that perhaps haven't been fair, and the impact that this has had on either our relationship to ourselves or our ability to express our identity in one way or another. And then thirdly, like I said, we are in this void of course energy all day today. Who knows, you guys? Things a little bit up in the air, and we are sort of in this state of limbo. So we've got a lot to talk about, the way that the energy is coming together, playing out in our chart today. Let's get into this energy. Let's look at this astrology and see what might be coming together for us on the ground today. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Thursday, October 20th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. Stick with me till the end of the report. We're also going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out in conjunction with the astrology today, because I like to tap the field for more than one modality just so that we can get a more holistic, well-rounded overview of what's playing out on an energetic level on any given day. And today, for Thursday, October 20th, this is what it's looking like. We're starting with the astrology. Like I said, the main things that I'm going to be looking at that are coming through to me in this chart today are, first of all, this void, of course, moon energy, which we're actually going to be talking about third, but that is just something to know that we have going on as a backdrop today. Like the moon literally isn't making aspects. We're not receiving any data from the other planets on an emotional or like an intuitive level today. We may feel like our feelings themselves may sort of be a bit like out of the game or like detached from what's playing out today. But we will get back into that in a minute. The main aspects, like the main business that we have going on today really is this Venus square Pluto exact aspect. And also remember, the sun is right there as well. Venus and the sun are in a very tight conjunction right now, and they're going to be coming into an exact conjunction, or exact to the degree conjunction, which is actually going to be carrying over the course of a couple of days, and this is happening very soon. So they are only 1 degree apart from each other, and so they're both in a square to Pluto right now. The sun's exact square was yesterday. I talked about that in my report from yesterday. If you missed that one, you might want to look back and catch that too. But Venus today, 1 degree behind the sun, 1 degree trailing the sun, is coming into the exact square with the exact square to Pluto. So we're going to be talking about this. Also, Mercury opposite Chiron. Going to be talking about this today as well. But one thing I do want to say before we sort of launch into our Venus square Pluto explanation, monologue, whatever we shall call it, is that while we do, because of Libra, the relationship, okay, relationships, Libra, that Libra has to both the sign of Capricorn and the sign of Gemini, and Pluto right now being in the end of Capricorn and Mars being in the end of Gemini, and Libra, or Venus and the sun being in the sign of Libra, the planets in Libra, Venus and the sun, are simultaneously aspecting both Pluto, yes, to his exactness, but simultaneously to a slightly lesser extent, but not that much slightly, Mars too. So on one hand, before, like I said, we really get into talking about this Venus square Pluto energy, I do feel like, which to me does represent slaying demons. Like when we have a sun and a Venus there as well, planets in square to Pluto, this is talking about a need to overcome a level of darkness in one way or another. And I feel like, especially in our transition of ages right now, in our process and path to self-actualization and our personal hero's journey, I feel like, we are all slaying demons to one extent or another, in terms of overcoming our lower selves, or in terms of breaking out of karmic cycles, or in terms of healing from childhood trauma. All of these various dimensions of things could be represented as like the Pluto element, the powerful forces that keep us out of our truth or cause us to surrender our power out of a lack of perception of our value or something like that. That type of thing is working to be remedied in this energy. And I feel like we are being given a blessing in the fact that Mars is also aspecting these two planets, because it's like, yes, while we are slaying these demons today, we also have this warrior spirit and these passionate ideas. Mars in the sign of Gemini, helping us to slay these demons, slay the day, and conquer the challenges. This energy is reminding me, this is a very like thoughtful, verbalized, like communicative, mental energy as well. This is like the pen is mightier than the sword type of energy. This is like having the wit and the being able to like craft our mental expressions or our verbiage, our words in some type of way that help us gain victory over a situation that we may have not been able to overpower if it weren't for like our intellect coming in and saving the day or something. This is like being able to use our mind as the remedy to whatever force is blocking us. We are being able to come up with these extremely creative, inspired ideas and solutions to help us overcome this darkness. So I want to say that as well. We are being assisted by Mars, the divine masculine, this warrior spirit, and this trine aspect to the sun and Venus in the sign of Libra. These are air signs. This is all about ideas. This is all about passionate ideas. And this is about knowing the right thing to say or having the right idea to create the solution that rebalances things, that reharmonizes things, that restores justice in a way that liberates and frees the heart, because we're talking about Venus, the heart, in the square with Pluto today. So wanted to start by saying that this really is, I feel like I said, I'm not sure that we're going to be like feeling the best today. I do feel like today may have sort of like more of a gloomy vibe. We may be just feeling a little bit lower, a little bit more like depressed, like as opposed to maybe the energy that we've been experiencing the past couple of days, maybe not so much yesterday, but definitely the day before when we had those two trines going on and the moon and Leo trining Jupiter. We may have felt, really optimistic and really positive and like feeling a lot bad about ourselves. And also, I do feel like this Mars trine to Venus and the sun is really helping to restore a sense of inner peace and balance and confidence within ourselves. But for whatever reason, with things that are playing out today, we may feel just a bit down. And again, I think that this is most likely having to do with this void of course moon in Virgo that we have going on, and just sort of maybe being just feeling a bit, like I said, like detached emotionally from things or withdrawn emotionally from things in one way or another. But we will get more into talking about that. Let's specifically now talk about Venus and Pluto, okay? In this square today. Now, Venus and Pluto in a square, this is just known for these intense emotional experiences, especially we're talking about Venus in the sign of Libra with the sun in regards to various dynamics and dimensions of our relationship life, our relationship world, partnerships, romances, financial agreements, relationships of all types and kinds. These are the type of things that are, for one, we may be experiencing some type of very difficult scenarios or power struggles or confrontations, but on another hand of things, there may be some problems coming to the surface that we are finding solutions for. This is a day of regenerating, and actually it is such a very powerful healing day in the context of relationships, both relationships with others and relationships with ourselves. But there may be some powerful conversations going on, some revelations about things for sure could be coming through. And if problems are surfacing in this energy, again, specifically, this is going to most likely be in regards to relationship dynamics or financial situations or like the relationship, again, like to our own self, our own perception of our own value, our own self-worth or stuff like that. If these things are surfacing today, problems along these lines, they must be solved. They must be healed. They must be like purged, rooted out, regenerated at their like core level. The core problem, the root problem needs to be addressed, or there will be an element of destruction that comes through. This is the type of energy where if these problems are surfacing in relationships today, they're surfacing so that we can see them and gain an awareness of them, and really use this Mars trine energy as well to get some type of solution to the problem. And if we don't use this energy to fix the problem, there's likely to be, like, it's probably going to be destroyed. Like it will destroy the relationship in one way or another. This is like universe giving us an opportunity to get to the bottom of things and to really clear it out, clean it out, and put it right. And if we can't do that, then it's just going to be like the downfall of the situation as it manifests at this point in time. But we do have to remember, you guys, we are only a couple days out from a new moon eclipse in the sign of Scorpio with the South Node that is all about detaching from any type of toxic anything that we've been attached to or committed to or involved in that is no longer serving our highest and our best. So this is energy where we have an ability to purge things that are no longer working for us and heal ourselves in a way that can put us on a path to really actually attract and magnetize to ourselves what is a much better reflection of us and will bring us much more fulfillment going forward. We are being given the opportunity to remedy some things in our lives with this energy, but it's likely to be happening through things coming to a head or through some like more ugly sides of things maybe presenting themselves. This energy is showing us what is not working. Another thing with this energy, you guys, do not try to subvert or to control others in any capacity, any type of relationship dynamics through manipulation, coercion, distortion, like seduction, anything along those lines. Do not try to manipulate, do not try to control, do not try to coerce, do not try to subvert anybody else's intentions for things in any type of way, specifically through guilt or responsibility or like blackmail or something like that. It will not end well. This is the type of energy where that type of thing is being rooted out and coming to, a head, and we are sort of detaching ourselves from people, places, and situations that would try to exert that type of power, force, and control over us. And if you are trying to, or find yourself in this energy, feeling an urge to try to control your surroundings or people in your life through engaging in that type of actions, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to ultimately get the outcome that you're looking for. And this is a much better day to, turn that inwards and figure out what within us is causing these compulsions or these obsessions or these needs to control or to subvert, trying to figure out where that is stemming from within us and, what is unhealed within us or what are we holding on to within us that is causing us to feel the need to exert that type of force. Like that is where we want to take this today. We want to get to the root of stuff. We want to look behind the curtain. We want to get down to like the nitty gritty and the ugly. And we want to figure out how it's causing us to self-sabotage and how we can fix and alleviate that problem so that we can phoenix, you know what I mean? So that we can like rebirth ourselves in a way where we are no longer susceptible. And I mean, when you're trying to control others, essentially you're also being controlled because you're like responding and reacting and calculating and using your time and energy in a way to try to like get an outcome out of somebody else, and you're not free in that process either. So we are relinquishing control today, you guys, to God, Spirit, Universe. We are seeing the issues that are coming up. We are recognizing the patterns, and we are, trying to solve them, trying to clear them out, trying to regenerate them, and being willing to detach ourselves and to, what needs to burn down to like let burn down at this point in time. Because, it's like with the forests and like controlled burns and stuff like that, like it's actually very, very healthy for some portions of the forests and stuff to be burned, and it creates nutrients and minerals for new growth in the soil. And that's like kind of, I guess, what we also should take into consideration as this energy plays out today. But Venus is square to Pluto. Another side of this energy is I feel like it sort of is firing us up and having us back to this like idea of conquering our demons, like aside from the like powerful emotional conversations and encounters and just the issues and relationship dynamics that we might be navigating today. Another side of this energy, and this we may see playing out kind of like on a more collective level as well, but it creates sort of like an inability to submit, okay? And I find it interesting to talk about this aspect. I actually have this aspect natally in my chart, Venus, Sun, conjunct and squaring Pluto. Mercury's right there as well also, but mine is in Aquarius and Scorpio. This is in Sun, Venus and Libra, Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. But I was sitting there today and I'm like thinking about how to describe this energy because like I said, I have this natally and it's something that I've always dealt with and like I feel very strongly. So I was like trying to think about, the best way to describe it. And I really feel like, aside from this like intense and powerful emotional encounters and experiences and reactions and the conversations that might be going on, trying to get to the root of things, trying to solve problems and relationship dynamics, because this is happening in the sign of Libra and the sign of Capricorn, relationships and authority. I feel like to me, this aspect has sort of always represented sort of like an inability to submit. For me, in Aquarius and Scorpio is like an inability to submit to any type of situation that is out of integrity or out of authenticity or where like respect hasn't been earned. Not the easiest aspect in it. Hasn't made me the most friends in life, but this aspect happening in the sign of Libra and Capricorn, where the Sun and Venus are conjunct in Libra, Venus very powerful in Libra, Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. I feel like this is an inability to submit to any like authority or any rules that are not fair and balanced at this point in time. No respect for corruption or abuse of power in government or authority that does not support the values fairly for the people. Like I feel like this specific dynamic that we may be dealing with, and again, this may be on a more collective level or in terms of our own personal experiences in our personal lives, like this is, really going to be bringing up these clashes over an equal give and take, reciprocity, greed, corruption, financial abuse. And again, these are in the realms of authority, rulership and elite classes, financial institutions, because we're talking about the sign of Capricorn, and also Libra, relationships of the heart, again, finances, but also balance, justice, reciprocity, even give and take, peace, harmony. So abuse of power in relationships via love, affection, validation, used as weapons to exert power and control as well. I think that these are the type of themes that we are probably coming to a head, or we are struggling with, or we are having to confront and overcome. These are like the challenges that we are needing to overcome, most likely in this Venus, Sun, square Pluto energy that is playing out right now. And in our transition of ages, you guys, like it really doesn't surprise me that sort of like this is where we're at. And then remember though, we have Mars in the sign of Gemini. Yes, Mars is slowing down to go retrograde. Yes, Mars is in a square to Neptune, but it hasn't happened yet. And the square is no longer exact to the degree. I feel like there is this passionate mental energy that is coming through, this willpower, this motivation, this courage, this strength, this assertiveness that is coming through in this mentalized way, this gust of inspiration or something like that, that is giving us the solutions to overcome whatever these challenges are, whatever powerful force is standing in our way or is holding us back or is making things unfair or is preventing our progress or is preventing just like the balance and the harmony within us to be regained in one type of way. I feel like this Mars energy is really helping us out, you guys, to conquer and overcome whatever challenges that are presenting with the squares as they're coming up right now. But I do feel like, on a world stage, this could really create some heated tension and stuff. There could definitely be stuff going on with financial markets as well today. Both Chiron in the opposition to Mercury today and Venus in the square to Pluto. Both of these are financial planets ruling finances, economies, what's going on with value systems, denominations of money and stuff like that generally. So there could be something along those lines taking a prominence today as well. But I do feel like ultimately this is helping to solve problems for us by showing us what's not working, giving us some very brilliant solutions that can bring us back to a state of greater self-empowerment that is helping us to overcome, conquer, move forward, and actually come back more into alignment with the truth of ourselves. Now, that being said, we need to talk about this dynamic that is playing out between Mercury and Chiron right now as well, because this also has a lot to do with us healing in a way that helps us to come back in alignment with the truth of ourselves. We're talking about the polarity now of Chiron and Aries retrograde, an internalized healing process that's going on within us, and Mercury in the sign of Libra, again, focus on relationships. So this aspect playing out today, and this was in effect yesterday as well. I failed to mention my report from yesterday, but I definitely wanted to address it for today. Because of the opposition, okay, and Mercury, this is our mind, this is our thoughts, this is what we're focused on a mental level, this is what we're talking about in the sign of Libra, okay? We're talking about relationships, we're talking about balance, we're talking about reciprocity, we're wanting to restore justice, we're talking about like what perhaps isn't fair and maybe what needs to be done in order to make it fair. But in the opposition to Chiron, we are likely to be reflecting on where or how we've been wounded as a result of other people in one type of way and what needs to be done to heal or to regenerate that at this point in time. And again, it's very interesting because Mercury opposite Chiron, this energy is really, really like geared towards what's happening with Mars and Gemini. And this is for a couple of reasons. Number one, Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, right? So Mars right now in the sign of Gemini is actually playing into what's going on with Mercury. Mercury is in the opposition to Chiron today, okay? Chiron, though, is in the sign of what? Chiron's in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. So what's going on with Chiron today is really playing into whatever we have going on with Mars, and Mars is in the sign of Gemini, pointing to Chiron. So these solutions or these ideas or this passion, this inspiration that might be coming to us today through this Mars Gemini energy in the trine to the Sun and Venus in the sign of Libra could have a lot to do with either how to heal from some of these things that have gone on within us or how to solve some problems to restore some type of balance in regards to like hurt or wounding or painful stuff that has gone on in the context of our relationship dynamics. What wounds have we gotten in terms of our personal identity also? This is Chiron in the sign of Aries. Chiron rules our wounding so that we can gain an awareness of it and learn to heal it and master our lower selves essentially and transcend our states of victimhood into self-mastery through this hero's journey and self-actualization process that we talk about all the time. But with Chiron in the sign of Aries, this is a wound to the self, okay? This is a wound regarding our self-expression, also specifically with Mercury in the opposition, personal identity, our personal presence, our self-perception as well. These are the type of things that we may be realizing that have experienced or have been holding some type of unhealed trauma that has been impacting how we relate to others or how we relate to ourselves. Something about this Sun square Pluto, Venus square Pluto energy today, again, this is showing us what isn't working in relationships. Essentially, like what is the root problem of our relationships in terms of why we're not feeling happy or why we're not feeling fulfilled or why there are levels of toxicity existing within these realms of our lives. Like this is what this energy is showing us and how it's impacted our views and our ideas and our mindsets and therefore our relationships, our relationship to ourselves and our relationship to others. This is like, how has things that happened to me in the context of other people throughout my life wounded me in terms of my own self-identity or my own self-perception or my own self-expression or my own relationship and view of my own self, and therefore how has that colored how I interact with others, and therefore how has that impacted the state of my current relationships? And therefore, maybe this is why I'm not happy in this relationship, because maybe this relationship is a relationship that is a reflection of my wounding that I'm discovering now, instead of who I actually am and what I actually require on a soul level to feel fulfilled from coming from a place of wholeness and like inner balance and harmony and being healed. This is what this energy is seeking to show us, to point out to us. How have relationships impacted or reinforced these issues that we might have relating to our own selves, essentially, or expressing ourselves or perceiving ourselves. And how is this keeping us in a state of victim mentality, the early phases of the hero's journey, so that we can't be who we really are and we can't say what we really want to, and therefore we can't relate to the reflection of our own truth in terms of our interactions with others and our relationships, and therefore we may feel very alone, even in the context of the relationships and other people in our lives, or like our relationships are not suiting us or are not fulfilling us or are not making us happy. It's because any relationship that is built on an unhealed reflection of ourselves is going to be a mirror of the trauma and not a mirror of the truth of what our soul desires and deserves. Okay, so we are getting to the bottom of it. We are looking for the truth. We are peering into, or life is showing us through what surfaces now, what needs to be healed, what needs to be regenerated, or what just needs to be like burned down and destroyed, so that we can come back to a place of healing, peace, and balance within us, so that we can switch this projection and instead begin to reflect that which is a true mirror image of what we need to feel fulfilled. And that, again, it will change the entire way that we are relating to ourselves and others. And as we are transitioning ages, as we are going through this process of self-actualization, as we are detaching ourselves from our past paradigms and breaking karmic cycles and breaking generational trauma and stuff, we are having to rediscover ourselves, our preferences. And as I've been talking about, you guys, this past Mercury retrograde and this profound retrograde season that we're coming out of now has had a lot to do with that process of rediscovering our personal truth, rediscovering our preferences. And now we're sort of at the point where we've got to take those rediscoveries and translate them into reality through embodying that. And in order to embody it, we need to really heal on these deeper levels. Chiron currently retrograde in the sign of Aries, in the sign of the self, healing our relationship to ourselves, healing our self-perception, healing our ability to express ourselves as well, with Mercury in the opposition today, in a way that is trying to help us come to a place of greater wholeness and self-empowerment as we solve these problems, as we conquer these challenges. So powerful day, you guys, powerful energy for seeing and discovering, purging, clearing out, and healing mindsets and connections, attachments with others that are stealing our power, keeping us out of a state of peace and balance. This is a super, super healing and transformative day. Although it may also be a bit of a weird day, as I said in the beginning and sort of prefaced all of this with, there is this element of general weirdness that sort of may be carrying through today as well. Now, let's go back and talk about this void of course energy now that we have sort of gone full circle and gone through the transits. Let's talk about the moon again, because what's going on with the moon, you guys, really has a lot to do with how we are feeling and what's going on with us on any given day. And the moon, like I say, is sort of like a trigger planet for energy. It activates transits because it rules our emotions and what's going on inside of us. And when our emotions and what's going on inside of us are, interacting with different energies and frequencies and stuff, it has a tendency to create an impact and like make things happen in various ways. How we're feeling, what we're thinking about, and what we're doing, they sort of all go together. But when we have void of course moon energy going on, like I said, the moon is leaving the sign of Leo, moving into Virgo, where it won't make any aspects. Like I was looking at the chart and I'm like staring, like trying to find aspects. I'm like, okay, Virgo, nothing in the beginning degrees of the mutable signs. So we've got no squares going on, nothing in the early degrees of earth signs. So we've got no trines going on, nothing even in the sextile angles. So we literally have no aspects going on. And I'm talking about like we have no aspects to the moon going on until, like I said, tomorrow, like after afternoon, when the moon gets to 14 degrees, 12, 13, 14 degrees of Virgo and begins to form a trine to the north node. Like that's literally the next thing that we have coming. And then the moon will trine Uranus as well. So moon void of course energy, we're not receiving like energy, okay, like from the other planets on an emotional level, because the moon is not making these aspects. So things may be a bit up in the air, not sure what's going on, things not going according to plan, not sure what to do next, stuck in limbo, sort of waiting on something to happen. That may be the general vibe. It's sort of like, it reminds me of like like the in-breath, you know what I mean? Like it's like this pullback and nothing's happening and nothing's happening and nothing's happening. But again, we are on a like very straight head course towards this new moon and eclipse that is coming up. Saturn is also about to go direct on the 23rd as well. So things are happening. Progress is going to be made. We are going to start moving forward, and things are going to be, we're really, really in some critical times right now, you guys. But right now, this day particularly, things may seem or feel like they just aren't happening, but also they are. At the same time, it's like on one hand, you know, we do have like all these powerful conversations and encounters and this Pluto energy and, you know, seeing the problem and figuring it out. But on the other side of things, like maybe it's like, but I don't know what's going to happen next. Like, I don't know what will become of me. Like, what is this going to do? I don't know, you know, void of course energy is very unpredictable. A level of emotionality, like I was saying earlier, that just may not be involved in what's going on today. What is driving the energy today, like I said, is this Mars energy. This Mars and Gemini energy is really driving everything. And even the moon being in the sign of Virgo, right? Moon in the sign of Virgo, which is ruled by what planet? Is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in the, you know, like Mercury is also the ruler of Mars right now. So the ruler of the moon today is also the ruler of Mars, and Mars, I do feel like, is the energy that is motivating things today. Like we're not coming at things from an emotional level, even though there could be some really deep emotional like conversations and stuff that are surfacing. It's like the driving force, the driving factor in this is our thoughts and ideas and our passions about things, with Mars in the trine to Venus and the sun. And Mercury, you know, ruling Mars in the opposition to Chiron, ruled by Mars, and the moon in Virgo, ruled by Mercury. Mercury also ruling Mars. So very much like in our head today, but maybe unsure of exactly like what to do next. That's just what it looks like, guys. I don't know. The moon in Virgo, wanting facts, details, information, organization, practicality. That's what we have when we have a Virgo moon, but not sure how we feel about things, perhaps. Mercury, like I said, ruling Virgo, also Mars, the wounding that is coming up. This, we could be, you know, kind of emotionally feeling that. We may be really dealing with, like I said, it's weird because we have these like deep issues, like this Pluto energy, like the deepest of the deep, like coming up for us to sort of clear out and go through today. And then this Chiron represents these like deep childhood wounds and stuff. And the moon in Virgo, like could be, Virgo also is a sign ruling the Chiron energy. So there's this really strong emphasis on, you know, really sort of being immersed in places that need to be healed today. However, there's still simultaneously like this emotional detachment to it. And Virgo also is a kind of an emotionally detached sign, doesn't have the greatest ability to like relate on an emotional level, more of this like emotionally withdrawn hermit type of energy. So there's that. And again, like I said, disappointment, a bit gloomy, like struggle. These also may be sort of the vibe today that we're dealing with. Just kind of a different day. I don't know. We have the position. Let's talk about the Sabian symbols for a minute. The position of the sun today, 28 degrees of Libra. That Sabian symbol is a man alone in deep gloom, unnoticed. Angels are coming to his aid. And then the position of the earth today as well, 28 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is a large, disappointed audience. So again, it's like maybe we are just feeling like in the state of not knowing what to do or not knowing what to do next, or a bit of like pessimism today, or just feeling like suspended in animation, or maybe just like seeing things through a more depressive lens today for one reason or another. Like things aren't panning out in the way that we wanted them to, or maybe like discovering like these problems and stuff that are, I mean, but then again, Aubrey, like think about what you're saying. You're talking about today being a day where we're really sort of immersed in our wounding and like having to like go through and resolve and heal and remedy like our own darkness. So I don't, I'm kind of like reaching farther than I have to try to explain why we might be in this state of like these more depressive, low vibes today. It's probably just because we are really navigating some of the more painful, difficult issues on like a quite personal level. And, that probably is where this is stemming from. We also have Mercury today, 15 degrees of Libra. That Sabian symbol is circular paths. And we have Chiron at 14 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is a serpent coiling near a man and a woman. So again, like with Mercury, Chiron opposing at these degrees, we could feel like we are on like nothing's changing, or like we keep facing like the same struggles and the same patterns over and over that are like a threat to us in some way or another. The serpent coiling near the man and the woman. But again, like in this energy, whatever patterns are surfacing are doing so because that is what either needs to be remedied and healed or will be the downfall of the situation. So I mean, I guess Mercury and Chiron at these degrees, circular paths and a serpent coiling near a man and woman, it's like we either get off the circular path by the opportunity that we have to recognize it and remedy it in this energy, or there may be some type of imminent threat or imminent doom that we are not recognizing or unaware of or unconscious of that could be a downfall in one way or another. So gaining an awareness of the self-sabotaging or the negative patterns that have been keeping us in a state of victimhood and out of the truth of our power, or away from recognizing our value and our potential, so that we can go through this self-actualization process like I always talk about. I feel like this is sort of what these planets are referring to in their placement today. And then we have Venus, 27 degrees of Libra today, in the exact square to Pluto at 27 Capricorn, at 27 Libra. An airplane sails high in the clear, bright sky at 27 Capricorn, a mountain pilgrimage. We want the clarity, you guys. That's what we want. That's what we desire. We want to see the truth. We want to see what's really been going on. We want to see what's been happening. We want to see what's really been playing out. But a mountain pilgrimage, it may be a steep climb to the top. It might require some endurance. There may be some really things that we have to conquer within ourselves and, externally in order to get to this point where we can have this overall view, to have this clarity. So I feel like, we want to see the truth about things, but it may not be the most easy journey getting there. Okay, I feel like sort of what is being described by the square playing out with Venus and Pluto at these specific degrees. So you guys, that's what I have to say overall for the astrology today. Venus square Pluto plus the sun right there as well. An inability to submit anymore and a need to really remedy some things as a result to restore balance and to alleviate any abuses of power that have been going on. Libra and Capricorn, that's what it's looking like to me. Mercury opposite Chiron to bring us to a place of healing our relationship to our own self as a result of perhaps where we've been wounded in the various relationship dynamics throughout the course of our lives that have been keeping us from aligning with our personal truth and really being able to be self-empowered to go through this process of self-actualization, hero's journey, and self-mastery. And thirdly, this void of course energy. We don't see this all the time, you guys. This is very rare. We do this every day. I'm talking about moon aspects every day. It's very rare that I'm like, oh, I literally can't find one. And not only can't I find one for today, it's literally going to be halfway through the day tomorrow before I can. So that whole situation as well. This is not a great day for like signing contracts, you guys, or making important decisions, important commitments and stuff like that in the void of course energy. I would hold off until, actually, if you want to know the truth, that type of stuff's probably not going to be organically happening now at all anyways. We're in this sort of like limbo period. I don't think that I feel like things are sort of like in a pause today and through tomorrow. When the moon in Virgo though does come into mid degrees of Virgo later in the day tomorrow, and then moves into the trine with Uranus following like into the evening tomorrow and into the day after that, Saturday, I think. things are just going to be organically falling into place because the moon in Virgo, Earth sign, will be forming a trine to the North Node and also to Uranus. So this is things like surprisingly working themselves out and falling into place. So no fear, you guys. Like if we are sort of in just this more like negative mental vibe today, we don't actually have anything to worry about. Things are going to be working themselves out, perhaps in some unexpected or miraculous ways over the course of the next couple days. And today is sort of just like this pause period. But that's what we have going on today. Let's talk about the tarot for a brief second. Honestly, this is a very short tarot message that is saying exactly the same thing as the astrology. We've got 3 reversals to talk about today, so things just aren't moving, okay? And it's very specific. Like, first of all, we've got the sun in reverse. In the context of the Sabian symbols of the sun, a man alone in deep gloom, unnoticed, angels are coming to his aid. We do have support. We just may not see it right in this moment, in this void of course today, and a large disappointed audience. And then we've got the sun in reverse. And we're also talking about Venus square Pluto, the sun square Pluto, like looking into the darkness, this Mercury Chiron energy. We may just be sort of not feeling the most lit up inside today, again, in more of a like state of just like a melancholy, more depressive energy. But you guys, it's okay. Like, it's okay if we're feeling that way. Things are just as they are in this moment, and there is going to be some positive progress that's happening over the next couple days. The next one was the 2 of Pentacles in reverse, followed by the Knight of Wands in reverse. Like, literally, this is just things not happening. Like, there's no choices and decisions being made. There's no forward movement. We're not like, there's no fervor towards anything. Like, there's no real like things like happening, progress, things moving forward. Nobody's rushing forward to anything. Nobody's making a choice or a decision. Everybody's sort of in this just standing in the shadows for some reason, standing in the shade under the tree, just waiting. That's what we're doing. But we do have on the back of the deck the 5 of Swords, or the 5 of Wands in reverse as well. So we're also not really trying to fight it, okay? Like, we're not really, we're not doing anything. We're not making a choice. We're not rushing forward. We're not engaging in the conflict. We're just sort of standing in the shade and waiting for it to be over. There may be some anxiety that's coming up in this energy, again, because maybe just this feeling of like uncertainty and not knowing what's going to happen next, maybe sort of keeping us up a little bit, or just creating like a general sense of like anxiety, a little bit that we're sort of dealing with today. But for the most part, I just don't think much is happening in this energy, even though simultaneously, like I said, a lot is happening. But what is happening is like this purge, regeneration, healing process going on within us, sort of coming to a conclusion about some things, getting some ideas perhaps to fix things. But this is the idea energy. This is the mental energy. This is not necessarily us like taking the action to make it happen, rushing forward with fervor. Knight of Wands, this is the ideas coming to us, the solutions coming to us figuring out what needs to be healed and perhaps how to do it, but then maybe feeling just like a little bit caught up in like whether or not, or how to make it actually, how to execute, okay? Which also, remember, we do have Mars still in a square to Neptune, so our ability to act may be, and Mars is about to go retrograde as well, maybe just a little bit less streamlined at this point in time, but it's not, I don't think it's affecting, the way that our mind is working to create these solutions for us. But again, that is basically just saying to me that kind of like people are in like more suspended animation with things today. Okay, guys. Let's grab one more card, Synchronicity card, God, Spirit, Universe. Oh, wait, that is way too many cards. Just dropped half the deck on the floor. But one of the cards dropped on the floor, and only one of the cards that dropped on the floor landed upright. And so I believe that this is the card that we are supposed to take today. And so we're going to take this one. It says, ask and ye shall receive. In all things whatsoever ye shall ask in prayer, believing ye shall receive. Matthew 21:22. This is the truth. All good is unfolding for you right now, and it will become a visible manifestation in your life very soon. That's what I'm saying, you guys. It made today seem like nothing's happening, that we've just like hit a wall maybe, or that, There's just like maybe we are really in just more of a low place today, sort of sitting in the midst of our wounds and our trauma and the reconstruction that needs to be done and what we need to detach ourselves from and get rid of, and you know what that might mean for the context of ourselves and our relationships. But at the end of the day, this is the message. It's saying that we are being primed for the ability to receive that which will truly fill us up on that soul level. So ask and ye shall receive today. Don't allow ourselves to get pulled into any type of fear. The presentations around us are not as they truly are right now. This is the truth. All good is unfolding for you right now, and it will become a visible manifestation in your life very soon. So that's what we are trusting and believing in right now, you guys. And that is what I have to say today. Message from the stars, message from the cards. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you liked this video. I hope I was able to provide something for you that can give you just a little bit of whatever you may have been looking for or whatever you may need throughout the course of your day. If you guys did like this video, please give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel, you guys. Hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. It will just take a second, and it really, really helps my channel grow when you guys do that. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below if you're into any of that. Share it with your friends, you guys, too, if you think that they would be interested in this type of astrology content, and leave me comments, you guys. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. I sincerely appreciate you. I love knowing how this energy and these aspects are affecting you, and I am so thankful for your presence here. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We are going to have some weekend astrology, talk about Venus and the Sun finally coming into this conjunction. We are moving towards Saturn direct, lots of astrology going on, big week, big times, big energy, you guys. I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it, and I will see you then. Everybody have a beautiful day. Until tomorrow. Bye, guys.